All right, everyone. Welcome to Boys and Brunch. This is the show where we expose everything going down on the timeline. And speaking of the timeline, if you're watching this on YouTube on a replay, you can jump straight to the story that you want because the timeline is broken up into sections. So just jump straight to the topic you want. And the topics that we're talking about today are Claudia Jordan and Zaya Wade, or Claudia Jordan talking about Zaya Wade on her show Cocktails with Queens. Then we're going to move into Sharon Osbourne's whole meltdown on the talk. Then we're going to get into boycotting the Grammys and why some artists are doing that. And then we're going to end with this viral Uber fight. So this is going to be an interesting show. I'm Jarrod D. King. I'm joined by co-hosts Brandon Harris Williams and Marcus Haynes. And we are also joined by a guest host who is one of my good friends, Elizabeth Miller. I call her Liz. Everybody calls her Liz. So Liz, how are you?
Hi all. How's it going? I'm good, thanks.
Good. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and let us know what you're drinking today.
Okay, well, a little bit about myself. Born and raised in Brooklyn, originally from Panama. Both parents I'm first generation immigrant. So I've been living in Brooklyn for 39 years now. I went to high school in A. Philip Randolph and I went to Baruch College, majored in finance. So now I work for Vice Media as their travel manager, and I've been there for about 4 years. My drink of choice today for now, before I do my grocery shopping, is water. But after I'm done with the grocery shopping, I will definitely indulge because what happens to me is like I go to the market, have little cocktails before, and I end up with everything in my cart. Stuff that I obviously don't need. So
Understood. And it's funny, Liz, because I know you're like out of our little group, you can drink us all on the table for real.
although as of late it hasn't been as easy. The recovery time is twice as long. Like, and the older adage holds true. Like it's not gonna last forever. And here we are.
So, Marcus, why don't you give us a quick update? Let us know what you're drinking.
So, update. It is spring break holiday.
I see the tank. You're showing the guns and everything.
Well, the sun came out, so the arms have to go. But anyway, no. But yeah. So that, and I also have another car update. Erica is back on the road. We're good. Everything is fixed. So I am now going on a trip in my favorite rocket ship for spring break. But
fantastic.
And to celebrate spring break and my enjoyment with Jack today.
Very nice.
He's talking real good.
I can't.
So this is gonna be a Marcus day. I can feel it. Right? Marcus is gonna be on today. All right. So, Brandon, why don't you give us a quick update? Let us know what you're drinking as well.
Quick update. Nothing really is going on new. Same old. Working and homework and writing. Not as much writing as it needs to be, but that's happening. And today I'm drinking. So I think last week or 2 weeks ago I got Stella Rosa, whatever. But I was like, I forgot how much it tastes like juice, not really alcohol. So today I have Stella Rosa with some Ciroc in it, so it actually feels like I'm drinking.
So for me, I am. What have I been doing this week? I don't know. I don't know what I've been doing. I didn't prepare for this piece of the show. I didn't prepare for every other part, so I'm not quite articulate right now. But yeah, I've just been trying to step up my game as far as this podcast is concerned. I had a great second episode of Clink Clink on View. So if you guys want to watch that show, I dig into some more general pop culture topics. And it was a pretty interesting show. I like having that audience interaction, so it helps. Hopefully, at some point in the future, I'll be able to have guests and stuff on that show as well. But I am drinking coffee today. Hey, Brandon's face. Now, see, look, like after last week, I'm like, okay, let me dial this back. Because this
Understood. I'll give you that. Because last week you was a little lit last week. So I give it to
a
you.
little, yeah. So to the Gorgeois, hello, everybody who joined us, Focus Connected, LT Willio, and everyone else who will be joining us. Please give us a like right now on YouTube. Give us a review if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever. And make sure you retweet and share this, because this is how we get growing here. This is how we get community growing. And with that, we're going to jump into this first topic. You've got Claudia Jordan talking about Zaya Wade. Now, I'm just going to play this clip first, and then we will.
This is what I have y'all covered.
Listen, I about need to go change.
Make sure I get the right. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah. And
some people are not properly articulating how uncomfortable they may feel about a child being pushed, what they think. They may think the child is being pushed to the front of the agenda, pushed to be the face of this. Now, if Zaya is 1000% okay with that, then I'm all for it. But
or Claudia, is people surprised or taken aback by the push of changing him to a her surgically?
I think that
it was a lot he was threatened by, to be very honest with you.
It's a lot. And I feel like it's really none of my business, but this is our job to talk about these things. When you were going through puberty early on in your life, there were so many different thoughts in your head. I didn't know what I was supposed to be or what was normal. What are these weird feelings I'm having? And I mean weird to me, right? So I just hope that there are no regrets later on. I want Zaya at the end of it to not feel any pressure. Like if Zaya ever felt like, you know what, I don't feel this way anymore. Does Zaya feel this uncomfortable, this ridiculous amount of pressure to not be able to go back? And not saying that she wants to, but I just feel like such a young age to have so much pressure.
all right, so that was the clip. So I am just I want to ask general thoughts. And I think I want to start with Marcus, because I think I remember you saying you had a family member who was trans as well, correct? I feel like you may have a bit more insight into this than maybe the rest of us do. So I don't know, maybe you can start off and give us some general thoughts about this.
So everybody goes for, even the titles of things went for Claudia Jordan, and I really want to bring Lisa Ray into this, because what she said was completely and totally foolishness. Because people have been saying this from the jump. No one is saying that Zaya is about to get a surgery. So throwing that in there was stupidity at the highest. But to the general sort of thing, it's like you said, why is that in your business? Because it's not. It's not any of your business, first and foremost. And also, like, I love how people just pretend like trans folks just woke up one day and was like, you know what? This is it. Let me go do some things. Like, bruh, like, do you know how many conversations, how much therapy, how much self-thought you have to go through in your mind, at least from, outside looking in, how much stuff up in your mind to even be able to say that stuff out loud to other people, let alone to put that stuff out into the world? And do you really think, with as much money as Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade got, that they ain't giving Zaya the best therapist, the most care ever possible? This ain't nothing. She just woke up and decided, bro. So y'all talking outside y'all neck right now.
Yeah. Liz, I don't think I'm hearing you. I see you talking, but I don't think I'm hearing you.
Yeah, I can't hear you either.
Oh yeah, no, I know she was talking.
Yeah, let's come back to you. And Brandon, I do want to hear what you got to say too.
No, it's the last. No, I'm joking. I think. Well, when I'm confused. I can't remember exactly why. I'm like, why are we discussing her again? Like Zaya, I'm just like, I feel like we've already done this big whole media craziness, whatever, when she first announced or came out or whatever, and her family affirmed and embraced her. So I'm just like, why is the news gonna be in the news every time she, steps on the scene? Because it's like it's reductive, it's pointless. We're not really moving the needle forward any. So it's for you to still continue to rehash things that we've already kind of discussed prior to. But even Claudia bringing up but it's none of my business. I just have to talk about the hot topics. Like, okay, while you do have a hot topic show, there's a way that you can still do it. I do think it still is important to realize too, this is still like a child. This is still a minor. This is still, there's a certain level of nuance, delicacy, whatever else that you should handle it. Because even in the clip, and I didn't see like the full episode, but like Selena doesn't say anything. She's just kind of like nodding, like y'all got this. I'm not participating. I'm not encouraging. I don't even want nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? And so I think, not to defend Claudia, but I do wonder if sometimes with her being, I guess, the moderator or whatever, she was like, she has to like push that envelope. But you can push without being problematic in this way. I don't know. Yeah. I think the point of it.
Yeah, Liz, what were your thoughts about this?
Oh, my original thought was just like she's conveying it as a publicity stunt, and I think it goes much more deeper than that. And to y'all's point, it goes deeper than that because there's so much more emotional like nuances that comes with that, the conversations. I mean, you got to be prepared, and because they have such a large public platform, yes, of course it's going to be like publicized, but not as a publicity stunt. And I think the way she conveyed it was like if they're trying to get like clout off of it, and I don't think that's the case at all.
Right. No, and I agree. I think, my initial thoughts after seeing that clip was that Claudia was more concerned about, the fact that Zaya was so young and in the public eye, and that she would have to then uphold some kind of an image. But it kind of falls flat when you investigate that a little bit more, which I kind of did. And I talked with Brandon and Marcus about this in our DMs, kind of preparing for the show. I had actually looked up detransitioning and what kind of causes that. And apparently, and I don't have my phone with me, right? Or no, it's in my pocket. I'm not going to look it up. But basically, yeah, if you can see what I had said, but something about like the reasons why people would detransition would be a lack of funding for the transition, or depression, or societal rejection. None of which I see Zaya really having an issue. Definitely not financial. Societal wise, there may be some of that, but she has a strong support system around her, like immediately.
Thankfully, yeah.
So that probably. So I mean, even if you want to say that would be an issue, like if she were to, want to detransition, I don't really even think that holds up. So yeah, Claudia was kind of just talking out of her mouth and not really talking out the side of her mouth, and didn't really have any real facts to back it up aside from just assumptions about what the experience is really about.
I do also I think there tends to be a focus on trans people in having surgery, and I think, and maybe this has been my own investigation looking into, but I think that trans has moved so far beyond, like the trans conversation moved so far beyond like just focusing on, or even if it was ever, that are like focusing on a surgery. We really shouldn't be discussing this for a child, because like you're saying, detransitioning is not even a thing that is as, I guess, common, as Claudia was trying to make it seem. So while yes, a preteen or whatever might go through puberty and might have different thoughts or whatever, I don't think that transitioning is like one of those, oh, these are just the growing pains of adulting, of getting older.
Right.
I do wonder if it makes it different for a person who has the financial means and can possibly make a decision quicker than someone who has to build those funds over time in order to transition. Does it make it easier for like, a person of, their status quo as far as money is concerned?
I would say more than like, it does, like, but at the same time, just like I said, you have that money to, to transition. you also got that money to make sure that you're making a decision that you're comfortable with.
Right.
So yeah, it probably does make it easier, but it makes it easier all around, at least.
Yeah.
But I also think too, like I guess kind of similar with that. I do think it is like I guess easier if you make that decision. You know, you easily have the funds and the access to do so. But also, my understanding is that the one, trans privates are not ours because our business, because that is just their privates. But also, you know, the conversation itself is so much more than it's like a gender identity kind of a thing. And if they choose to do whatever else past that, is absolutely the individual decision.
Right.
Which they clearly don't know on the two talking on the panel didn't know. But.
Right. And I looking at these comments, it seems like everybody's kind of on the same accord, connected, saying, I agree with you both. It would be different if there was an expert on the panel to enlighten and educate. Yeah. And that's why, when we talk about trans issues on this show, if I don't have a trans person on the panel, I try to keep my opinions we don't even need to really talk at length about it because we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I mean, this and to echo Claudia, this is our job. This, we talk about what comes up, but at the same time, it's like we got to know how to talk about it. You know what
you got to know your range.
Exactly. You got to know your range. And this is the reason why I don't really talk personally. I don't bring up a whole lot of political like some deep political talks as well, because I don't have the range or I just don't have the I don't have the stomach for it. I should say that.
That as well.
But I do want to say one final thing is with Lisa Ray. It just seemed like the way that she said what she had to say seemed very like, you remember that scene in Housewives of Atlanta where where Candy's like aunt or something was like, it seemed like a scheme that Todd set up.
I think
and it was just like she thought she was making a point there, and I was just like, girl, what are you talking about?
I saw where she was going, and we didn't fully get to the destination. I think she was trying to say that others are having the conversation of surgery, but it came off as if that's how she feels, and like it did come off like kind of transphobic. Like, sis, wait, what? We didn't fully. Maybe we just expound just a little bit more to fully get.
Right. It's like she didn't really even get there. Also,
I don't know. Never mind.
You're gonna sip. Okay, I got it.
I do think, and this might get me in trouble. I'm gonna say it anyway. It's fine. I do think there is a level of ignorance when it comes to specifically like homophobia, transphobia, whatever, where people are just ignorant. But what they say, they don't realize that it is phobic in some kind of a way. And so I think that sucks if there's not, I guess, someone who can educate them, is able to educate them, or they don't. Because some people, I absolutely get, you can Google, you can look things up, whatever. But if you don't know what you're saying or whatever is wrong, then you won't know to look up what is correct. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, there are a lot of resources that we can look up, like, any webpage, but until we personally speak to someone to know what they're going through emotionally, personally, I mean, every individual is different, right? What one is going through may not, the other one may not. And this is the time to explore the topic, to learn about it, so that we don't come off as ignorant or or dismissive, because it can come off as dismissive, because it's like, well, I know more than you. No, you don't, because you don't know what that person is going through at that moment in time through the transition. So it's important to learn, from each other and explore these ideas and feelings and emotions behind it.
Absolutely. All right, so I think we're ready to move into our next topic. But before we do, I do want to let y'all know about the Patreon. Hey, it's that time again. So real quick, we've got the Discord in the Patreon, and we've also got Splitting the Bill. And I mean, I just really want you guys to at least try it. Like throw $4 in there just this month, just to see what it's given, because we have some great conversations. I think Marcus can vouch for us, because he's not really in the Discord all that much, but when he came in, he saw some stuff. And we had a nice lengthy conversation between myself, one of our and a few of our other. I'm not gonna put them. I'm gonna put them on blast. But we were talking about relationships.
It's
And
fine.
then with Splitting the Bill today, we're going to be talking about Kirk Franklin and his son. This just kind of happened like last night, so we're gonna jump into that out on the after show because we weren't able to fit it into today's show after planning everything. And then finally, we have the Bourgeois Brunch coming up next week, which, unfortunately, if you haven't signed up now, you kind of missed out on, but it is going to be a great event. And I will be sure to share some highlights so that you guys know what to expect. And with that, we're going to move into our next topic. So, Sharon Osbourne. This is going to be an interesting one, I feel, because this is taken on a life of its own. So basically, we started this whole thing with an interview between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle with Oprah. And then it ended up with Piers Morgan, who's a talk show host, and he was saying how he didn't believe that Meghan had gone through all this bullying or had felt suicidal and all that stuff. And then came Sharon Osbourne because Piers Morgan eventually got dragged and left and resigned from his position on the TV show. And then Sharon Osbourne comes in to then defend him, and then we get this clip. So let me pull this up.
Oh Lord.
I want you to hear from me.
I will ask you again, Cheryl.
Yes.
I've been asking you during the break. I am asking you again. And don't try and cry, because if anyone should be crying, it should be me. This is the situation.
Yes.
You tell me where you have heard him say, educate me. Tell me when you have heard him say racist things. Educate me. Tell me.
It is not the exact words of racism. It's the implication and the reaction to it. To not want to address that because she is a black woman and to try to dismiss it or to make it seem less than what it is. That's what makes it racist. But right now, I'm talking to a woman who I believe is my friend. And I don't want anybody here to watch this and say that we're attacking you for being racist. And for that, if I articulated
I think it's
anything,
too late. I think that seed's already sown.
But that is why I'm saying for me, I'm saying.
All right. So we've got that. And then Sharon apologized, I want to say a day after that. But she apologized to the public for what she said. She didn't necessarily apologize to her co-host there. So anyway, I just want to get general thoughts before we can dig in a little bit. But let's start. Liz, can you jump us off here?
Where do we begin? Where do we begin? How can we dissect it? I just feel like she's not acknowledging her co-host's feeling about the situation. She's just on a totally different level as far as like educate me. Come on, how old are you, Miss Sharon? And you don't know the difference between what? Hello?
No, I'm saying
no. He's responding.
And you don't know the difference at what may or may not come off as racist. That to me is ignorant in itself. So it's like, come on, grow up. And you have this enormous public platform. You have all these resources, and you're gonna sit there and talk about educate me, honey. Pick up a book, okay?
Seriously.
Honestly,
Brandon.
I mean,
yeah.
I think it's kind of like what they're saying in the comments. It's like the amount of restraint and patience that Cheryl had to have to try to even have a conversation with Sharon, even though Sharon was not listening, was not trying to be receptive, had already had her mind made up. And then she's already crying, and to tell Cheryl she can't cry when Cheryl is not even that emotional in the moment. It's just you're already trying to become the victim, or you're already trying to like weaponize do everything else. And it's like, man, we're just having a conversation. What is really
Agreed.
going on? You know?
And if Cheryl got emotional, then she's within her right to become emotional. Don't sit there and be like, don't get emotional. If anybody should be crying, it's me. Who's who are you to say that her emotions are more important than yours, or y'all can't share some sort of the same sentiment?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I found. It was just so messed up because, and I think Connected is even saying this in the chat. It's like, could you imagine if Cheryl had raised her voice? Thank goodness Viacom CBS is doing an internal review and the network is reviewing. And I'm just like, Cheryl could not give her back the same energy without getting lambasted for it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's just unfortunate. And I feel like Cheryl in that moment knew that she could not go there, unfortunately. And it's just a shame. It's just a shame because it was definitely a power play almost. You could definitely see a power dynamic at play. Marcus, what are you thinking so far?
Well, if anybody knows anything about Cheryl Underwood and the letters on my shirt, you already know how I'm approaching this topic. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, screw Sharon. Like everything that she talked about, the entire way that she approached that conversation was completely and totally screwed up. Like, I don't understand how you can convince in your mind that that you're being attacked just because your friend, not even you, but your quote unquote friend, is being called out for BS that kid. Like, it doesn't make sense to me as how she made that sort of connection in her mind. And then for to go around and be like, you know what? I'm being attacked. This is all on me. And you can't have any emotions because I'm the one who should be feeling all these things. That's BS, man. That's BS to the highest. And I commend Cheryl for holding her peace because I would not have. That would be my last day.
Absolutely. Would you guys say that Sharon is a racist?
I would. Sure would.
Yeah, and it's funny because I did not know this much about her, but I did my research, or let me just say I looked on Twitter and somebody else did the research and I just got the benefit of that.
That's all research is. Look at what other people did. So
so Yashar Ali on Twitter kind of ran down some of the things that Sharon has done in the past. And there was this issue with Holly Robinson Pete and Leah Remini calling them ghetto. Hold on one second. I think we're having some technical difficulties in the chat or in
just
the,
not
in
like
the room.
us, Lord.
Okay, so real quick, can everybody hear each other? Liz, can you hear us?
Yes, now I can hear you. Now
okay.
I can hear Marcus.
Great. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
That's good.
Brandon, I don't know what's going on. I know you have some issues. You might. I don't. We're gonna have to figure something out. But but I will recount what we've been saying if it's anything that we feel you need to get a response from. But anyway, what I was saying was that Sharon has called her co-host ghetto. They were subsequently removed from the show, and they don't really know what happened, but they kind of suspect that she was kind of behind that. There's a clip where she kind of denied Meghan Markle's blackness, saying, she's not black. And then they were like, yeah, she is. She has a black name. She's like, oh, she doesn't look black, Right. So there was that. And then there was also, let me see, what is this? Taunting. She was taunting Justin Bieber about trying to be this mean boy or this bad boy or something. And she was like, he doesn't realize that he's white and not black. So stop it, basically. But kind of insinuating that you can't be bad unless you're black, which is just wrong. It's just like, now you're putting all the bad stuff in our corner and like, no, let's not go there.
Have mercy.
Yeah, so she's had a lot of issues as far as that's concerned. But I do kind of want to turn this around to the discussion that kind of started this, which was the interview between Meghan Markle and Oprah, Harry and Meghan and Oprah. What did you guys think about? Did you guys watch the interview?
I didn't finish it.
And then I saw clips here and there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I caught the last hour and a half. I missed the first half hour.
The last hour and a half.
Right.
My God.
I know.
Right.
It was long, right?
And then there was a part 2 the next morning, wasn't it? Like it was.
I think so. Like on one of the morning shows, they showed some
CBS
stuff that
this
wasn't.
morning, I think, or something.
Yeah,
That's a commitment. That's a commitment.
It is.
Look, I mean, some people are into it like that.
Right.
I'm not, I think Americans are less likely to be into it quite as much.
I mean, I think this was a ratings thing, but I wonder how much of it is because we're all at home.
But you know what though? I don't know, Brandon, because people was invested in when they got married. People were invested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a big story. It's a big story. I was struck by the whole bringing up the child's skin tone.
Yeah.
And I even said this on my other show. I was like, okay, who did it? Who said it?
Who is having that conversation?
Who do y'all think said it?
All of them.
Right?
Basically.
The queen, I'm sure the queen bee herself started that conversation. Okay. Okay.
Oh, man.
Which is just even interesting though, because Meghan is so light, so typically the child would just come out. I mean, as the child did come out very light as well, but it's kind of how that tends to work. Like if she's biracial and then it's a white father, then typically that shouldn't be a worry. I mean, aside from whether she was dark or not, though, it's like, well, you already knew he married someone, so you knew we should be entering in that territory or whatever.
Right. Desiree Jasmine is saying it was all of them. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's kind of where we are with that. It's like one person may have vocalized it, or one person may have been the messenger, but at the end of the day, I mean, let's look at what has happened with the tabloids and everything, and the royal family not standing up for her, and all of this undercover racism that has been going on. Like they're kind of all at fault. So I guess maybe a specific name doesn't really matter so much. But I just, I'm glad that they are kind of out of that situation. I do think the memes that came out of this are hilarious though. The Oprah it's hilarious. Yeah, and then the whole fact that Tyler Perry had them up, that was a whole thing. They under Medea's witness protection program.
They'll do everything but save Monique. I love it.
They seem to be doing pretty all right. Didn't they just cut a big deal with I forget which broadcasting company for like Netflix, a big right? It was Netflix, right?
I think it was Netflix
for like 30 million or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it was a big deal. Meghan and Harry. Mm-hmm.
Netflix for what? What are they doing?
I have no clue. No.
Listen, Netflix is doing everything they can to keep y'all, including trying to make sure y'all ain't sharing no passwords. They doing everything but getting more content.
They have okay, yeah.
And raising their membership every 2 weeks. Boom. I mean, I was just paying $16.99 and now I'm paying $19. How? Why? What's going on there?
And it's not even that good.
No.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to be on my father's account with the
for now, right?
For now, but, I mean,
so they're cracking down on sharing passwords and stuff. So I don't know how
right, but
work.
they have different profiles on one thing.
So I don't
know.
I'm
like,
they say you got to be in the same house because they're gonna like call or text the main phone or email and be like, hey, if you can't respond to this email or text whatever, then you ain't in the same house, so blocked.
Okay. I mean, they need to come on because they're gonna end up shooting themselves in the foot, basically.
Oh yeah.
I love Netflix. I personally think it's probably the best streaming platform out of the bunch so far. But that's me.
Now, is it the best or is it the one that we used to?
Pretty much. That's what happens in my case. I'm all over. I have Prime, Hulu, Netflix, and I always just go to that Netflix. But I think it's also like the marketing behind it. That red, it's something about the red that just gets you, and it when you get. I don't appreciate is their viewing shaming. Like if I want to watch 10 episodes of Grey's Anatomy, don't shame me talking about, are you still watching? Yes, I'm still watching. Next episode, please. Okay. Tell me what to do. All right. Don't tell me what to do. I'm paying for it. I can watch whatever I want, as many as I want.
LT Willio saying HBO Max is coming for that #1 spot.
Now, HBO Max got some content now. I got to go watch Judas and the Black Messiah today because they said it's going off.
I will give them that. HBO is probably the next best. Everybody thought Disney Plus was going to blow.
That's what I was about to say. That. I think HBO Max was giving us what we thought Disney was going to do.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like, with Disney, I mean, to just go off on it, because completely off on a tangent because we're completely off our topics right now. But with Disney, I feel like the reason that all of their stuff is weekly is because they don't have stuff to put out. No. They don't have new stuff to put out. No. Or they don't have enough new stuff to put out. You know what I'm saying? No. Like they have a huge catalog. But as far as putting out new content, they're not. I just feel like that's probably the reason why they're doing a lot of the weekly stuff.
Yeah, because they banked on nostalgia, and nostalgia can only take you so far. Like I've seen all of That's So Raven. There's only so many times I can go back and watch these episodes again. So,
yeah. All right. Well. With that, I think we're going to jump into our third topic, which is boycotting the Grammys. So The Weeknd is joining a list of other stars that is basically writing off the Grammys, saying that it's rigged. The artist Zayn Malik even tweeted, "F the Grammys and everyone associated. Unless you shake hands and send gifts, there's no nomination considerations. Next year, I'll send you a basket of confectionery." So, they're all very, very pissed off at the Grammys right now. And I think even Beyonce, who is up for a few awards, declined to perform. And they're upset about that. So, what are your thoughts on the Grammys anyway? Do we give them too much? Like what do you think? Do these artists have a legitimate reason to want to just bow out of it? Marcus, let's start with you.
Okay. It's interesting because it's like I do think there's a legitimate reason. I do think there's legitimacy because old white establishment stuff. But I will say it looks like, because it's coming from the artist, it looks like they're throwing a temper tantrum because you get the nominations that you wanted. Like there's legitimacy because the Grammys have been out of touch for who knows how long. Even just using Beyonce as an example, like, that you've been out of touch with what is really making impact for a very long time. But now these artists are jumping on it, and it seems like they're throwing an attention tantrum, which is sad because there actually is legitimacy to what they're saying. The fact that these things should not matter so much because they really don't know what people are actually invested in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will also say, it's a lot of chart-topping artists who feel like because they are super popular with the public that they should be recognized for that. And I think that they should be. And I think that the Grammy committees that they're complaining about I think the idea was that they would be able to take them into consideration with other independent artists who may not be as well, or may not be charting as crazy as some of the other artists are.
But
Brandon, you look like you have a thought.
I do. I mean, because the Grammys, just to follow up, I guess with that, the Grammys are supposed to be over the best overall, right? Like, isn't there like the Billboard or the American Music, whatever, like something that is more chart focused? Like, I feel like the Grammys should be, what is the talent, what is the whatever else, you know?
Supposedly.
I don't. I mean, people have been upset about the Grammys for a minute, so I don't know why we. It's like we have these issues every year, but then you continue to submit or you continue to complain or whatever else. So either like put your music out and keep going, or put your music out and know that this is part of the game. But I do also think though that I think awards in general, though, there's normally like a campaign thing. Something like even like with Hollywood awards, like the Golden Globes and Oscars, whatever else, there normally is a certain level of ass kissing or interviews or whatever you have to do. I don't know if it's so much the same on the music side, but I can absolutely see it since it's still the same overall kind of industry or whatever else.
Yeah. I'm seeing here the Connected saying The Weeknd has no real claim.
He doesn't. He can't sing.
I gotta say, yeah, his concert did lack a lot of luster. I was like, okay, what did I pay this money for? All I'm seeing are like pyrotechnics, and I'm like, okay, where's the performance? Now, when you flip that and you put it aside, Justin Timberlake, that boy, like, he was jumping and playing piano and the guitar, and he's singing and he's drumming. That's a performance to me. The Weeknd, you cool. Even like the halftime show, I was like, what? Oh, this just happened. Okay, all right. Like other years, I mean, you look at, J-Lo to me is more of a performer than a singer, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Great performer.
Absolutely true.
But blew that
beautiful guy.
halftime show.
That comment, Marcus.
Why she was picked to sing at the White House, I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. But you know, they give performances. Get loud. I was like, oh, what? Okay.
So funny,
but yeah, like the Weeknd, you need a little bit more. Although his claim is true to history, because history does dictate that the Grammys have, the Grammy Record Association has been kind of discerning and selective in that sense. But in my opinion, it doesn't add to the artist's accolades as far as the public views you as an artist, right? So because you're still gonna put those charts, those hits out, people are still gonna buy, you're still gonna be on the top, Let's look at the Billboard. The Billboard Awards are based on units, right? So that's where that's where you win your award. So if anything, we can shift our as much importance as we put on the Grammys and shift that to Billboards, where like numbers actually count.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
Why did you put that up on the screen?
I had to put it up on this. It was just funny. So let's get loud.
But I think that's a good point. Like similar to what I was saying about Hollywood, like those awards tend to like garner more attention for people to like watch the movie or the show or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't work the same way for like music awards. People are just normally, if they already listen to so and so, they listen to so and so. Like an award doesn't move them. I mean, yeah, it like factors into Stan Wars or whatever else, but it doesn't necessarily garner new interest or not viewership, but like listeners.
Right.
Yeah, I want to move into that conversation about which award show we should really be paying attention to. But real quick, I do want to shout out what is it? LT Willio is in here fighting the good fight with about The Weeknd having one of the biggest pop culture or biggest pop years. And so I mean, I think here it is. I was looking for the chat. He said Buddy's had one of the largest albums of the year in pop music. So
I know he had an album out.
That's a problem.
Well, I mean, but it is what it is fact. So I mean, like, and he's been at the Super Bowl, which is part of that So it's like, why does he not have any nominations at the Grammys? So I get the complaint is what I'm trying to say.
But I feel like
lip, I can't sing either, but he's nominated.
I mean, but I feel like that goes back to what I said at first. It's like you have a valid point, but the way it's coming across makes it seem like you're just whining, like you just like I didn't get my way, like that type of deal. And I don't know. Go ahead.
No, and it's not that I don't think it's the first year either. I feel like last year was the same thing, right?
With him?
Yeah. I want to say
there was
I'm sure.
It was somebody. I think it was somebody else, but it's like the same story every year. Somebody gets mad. I mean, I remember when Nicki Minaj, I think, even said recently, remember back when she didn't get Best New Artist and they gave it to Boniver or something.
Now,
well, she wasn't even nominated, I think, was what the issue was.
Now, I haven't said positive words about Nicki Minaj in a long time. However, she had a point when she said that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, look, credit where credit is due, right?
You got to say.
Now, Ty McKinney is saying whoever wins Album of the Year Grammy always gets a bump in sales. But should we really be paying attention to the Grammys like that? Like, are there other places that we should kind of, because I feel like the door is now wide open. Personally, I feel like a lot of these award shows, a lot of these old award shows that everybody actually thinks of as like the top tier, which is like the Oscars or even the, what did we just get through? The Emmys or something? What did we just have?
The Emmys or the Globes?
Oscars had
Globes,
the Globes. Yeah.
And then the Grammys now with these backroom deals with artists and stuff, like, trying to get nominated. I feel like the door is wide open for an artist or somebody to team up with, a Billboard Awards or somebody and just kind of champion them to kind of get them to be the next thing, or American Music Awards or whatever, to be the one that everybody pays attention to as the standard. Because I feel like the old guard is now kind of, it's time for them to set them out to pasture. Like,
right.
Next, it's 2021. What are we doing? We have to go through Oscars So White. We have to go through this, Hollywood Foreign Press doesn't have any Black people in it, and now we're talking about the Grammys, and it's just like we need to move on at this point, basically.
But that's what people have, at least on the TV movie side, because that was the whole thing when Oscars So White first started. And at the beginning it was like Jada and Will and this type of thing. Like when they showed up at the NAACP Image Awards, like that was supposed to be like a push to try to legitimize them in a way. So yeah, I definitely think if people really wanted to get away, show up at one of these many awards BET shows are putting out. Show up at some of these other things if you want to try to push for something that you feel like is going to be more. What's what I want? More inclusive.
Right.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Is there an award show that you guys watch, like that you actually tune into, that you are eagerly awaiting, let's say? Because I used to watch, but yeah, go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, I used to tune into the MTV Awards because you knew something was going to happen at the show, some crazy performance of sorts, or somebody was just going to pop up and be drunk or a hot mess. So that's something I used to look forward to. But I think award shows in general have kind of fizzled out. Like, the AMAs, I mean, in Michael Jackson days were always phenomenal because you always get, the Whitney Houstons and the Michael Jackson. And so you knew there was going to be that performance that was going to be like monumental. Even now, like I still watch performances from 10 years ago for the AMAs, because the AMAs always kind of put together this good show that kept you going. Like, to me, the Grammys is always no shade to country music, but it was like the Country Music Awards, I felt like I was watching that, so for that particular reason, I would tune into the AMAs more.
Yeah. And that brings up a good point about the talent. And I don't know what your guys' answers were going to be, and maybe you can throw it in there, but I'm just like, is there anything to really watch? Because ain't nobody doing nothing but like a couple of artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the R&B girls really is what, and maybe now some of the rap girls too.
Some of the rap girls, be specific.
Rap girls. I said rap girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like, with the exception of those few, if they're not going to be performing, then why am I watching?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? What's the draw? I mean, Beyonce not performing at the Grammys this year is kind of a big loss. Especially when the perception. Now they said that it's not going to be a Zoom type award show this year.
What structure? What's their layout? How's it going to be?
I have no clue. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they have said, the line that they're giving us is that the Grammys is not going to be a Zoom type of show.
Okay.
But I guess because one of the other shows, I think, what was it, a couple months ago, was in person too, wasn't it? But they didn't really have a large audience or something. I feel like it was a music show. I can't remember which one.
Maybe.
I don't know if it was MTV.
Well, like
something.
like Justin Bieber performed, right, or something like that. It was
Don't
fun.
make me lie. Please don't make me lie.
I know.
I don't know, but
perform.
Like,
y'all
y'all need
that
to draw. Y'all need to draw because this has not been what it's been in the past.
But I think that's also
it's not given what it's supposed to.
I guess not fair because I know for the longest time, like Beyonce was the draw to like every show. Like that's why you put her towards the end, like because people are like.
I was trying not to say it because
but that's true.
I know that. I was trying not to say it.
That's true.
It's true.
I mean, but that's true. There is nobody who is there. Like whether you hate her, love her, whatever, her popularity is above everybody else's at this point.
And she's gonna give it to you. You're gonna watch a performance. Like
exactly.
There's no doubt about that.
All right, so we're getting a little bit close to the end here, but I do want to have a full conversation about this Uber fight. So hopefully, if we run over time, you guys can stick with us a little bit because this is insane.
It's so fucking
So let me just put this up on the screen.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Video, guys. This is a mess. We are watching the video.
I needed a vitamin for that one.
Listen, let me come on, Jack.
Here we go.
Fuck the man. Fuck nigga, and I got corona. Yeah, what's up? Fuck you too. Hey, hey. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Don't my property. You about to get your ass for shit. Now you about to get beat the fuck up. Yeah, now you about to get beat the fuck up. Now you about to get beat the fuck up. What's up?
You don't touch my property. You don't buy it. You don't buy it. I bought it. I work hard for it.
You're not in the middle of nowhere.
So
what's up? Hell no.
So
Bitch ass
did it like this?
Take us out in the middle of the fucking thing. Are you stupid? I really have to like do something.
Did I told you to get out in the gas station? You didn't.
Fuck the man.
So we don't have to.
Please don't. Please don't.
But yeah. So we got that, and initially I had my own idea of what was going on because I only got that clip. But let me just run through the series of events that kind of led to that. So basically, in an article with Yahoo News, it says one of the writers did not wear a mask, which goes against Uber's COVID-19 safety policy. When the driver asked the girl to wear a mask, the group allegedly started yelling racial slurs at him. The driver stopped the car, asked the women to leave, but they refused. The situation escalated as he pulled into a gas station and asked them to buy a mask. Let me pull these guys back into the chat. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay, so the drama escalated when he pulled into a gas station, asked them to buy a mask. The dash cam shows the girls coughing in his direction. The the woman is also seen grabbing his phone and his mask. The riders eventually left the car, but one of them allegedly reached into an open window and pepper sprayed the driver. So that's how that ended up. Yeah, so I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. Marcus, why don't we start with you?
I don't even know where to start because they seem like I don't even know what was in their minds because from what I saw, the man politely asked him to get out because he wasn't doing whatever it was they asked him to do or what have you. They didn't. Now, where he messed up was he shouldn't have kept driving them and going to try to drop them off in the middle of the freeway. He shouldn't have did that. But at the same time, the way that they escalated, the way that them folks like literally assaulted him, no, he had every right to beat their asses at that point. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, you are a danger to me, my health, and my family. Your ass got to be beat.
Right. Brandon, what are you thinking? Are you kind of on the same wavelength?
Pretty much all of that. I think I didn't understand or I didn't know fully initially, you know what I'm saying, like why he was driving off in the middle of the freeway, like how do we get there? Because I'm like, I get not dropping somebody off in the middle of even if you drop them off in the middle of the route, before their destination, you drop them off in a safe location. But the way they were cutting up and carrying on that back seat, baby, listen. And also, this was Uber, right? Just like for like I'm not clocking in, so this is a whole nother level of situation I'm dealing with. Like, no, like this is my actual car. You're doing the absolute most. Forget this job. We finna box. Like, because she would have cost me. I'd have cut the dash cam off.
Right.
Cut the dead ass. Okay. Like. And that's the thing, like, just like I said back with Sharon, that would have been my last day.
Last scene in
Look,
season.
I mean, so my initial impression was he told them, okay, so my thing is, yes, they were dead wrong with how they reacted. I do think that the driver should have, if they weren't going to get out of the car, don't then drive with them in the car, like, continue to drive with them in the car, because then you're escalating it too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't take him off the hook completely. I do think that the girls are more wrong in this situation. Liz, I want to get you in on this because we kind of missed you there for a minute.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like the passengers were all the way wrong in this situation because number one, it is a company mandate. Number two, we're still in a pandemic. Number three, it's like not only are you putting the driver at risk, but you're putting the entire car at risk by not just wearing a damn mask. Like I mean, I don't know how far they were going, but it's nowhere near that you can't wear a mask. And it's not that she didn't have a mask, because she had a mask. She just refused to wear it for whatever apparent reason. And in my opinion, he's just doing his job. And the Ubers that I've gotten in, I haven't had a problem because I come in like with my mask and my hat and all that. But I can see and I can respect where a driver would say, "Hey, excuse me, just put on your mask." Now, what gives you the right to come out your face and disrespect this man? And you, as her friend, should tell her to chill. Not only are you escalating the situation, like the one in the middle didn't seem like she was in on it, and then I don't think she got charged. I know the other two definitely got charged, but come on,
that one on the left,
on the left, and did she end up like pepper spraying him or something like that? See, like why? Why did the man hit you? Was he being aggressive? He was just saying, and then you take the man's phone. You don't touch people's phone, like
no.
Listen,
like
I don't even cost that much, and I fight over it.
Right, exactly. It's the principle behind it. Like
maybe this
all
is
the
why
way around.
Texas used to have or do they have the like the bar or the glass? Maybe this is why they used to have that.
Maybe
they need to reinforce it because, honey, no, that's just it's just wrong.
Now,
and
the one girl that was doing the most, the one on the right, her explanation was that they wanted him to wait while they got another Uber or something. Because I don't know if y'all saw. I don't have that video.
Yeah.
But she was explaining that they were in the car, but they weren't going to get out in the middle of nowhere or get out, basically in the ghetto, and risk something
because they were
happening.
acting so classy, right? They were acting so classy that they were afraid they would get left in the hood, right?
Right,
Okay.
right. But that was the explanation. No, they should have just exited the car when he said so. But from the driver's perspective, should he have just waited to not further escalate anything?
I felt they would have escalated regardless. They would have sat in that car till that next Uber came, probably hurt this man, and he was just trying to get them out of his car, which I don't blame him. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
and I also read that Uber only offered him like $20 compensation for all this because of the pepper spray. And it's hard to get pepper spray out the car. Uber was like, okay, fine, we'll give you $120. $120? Like, did you just not see this video? Like,
right. And that's another point. He ended up with $120 from Uber, but that's still not, like, he's in San Francisco.
Right.
And he said that
that's
detailing is like,
hello.
That's like a McDonald's meal in San Francisco.
There you go. Exactly.
So that's not gonna work. And so somebody ended up doing a GoFundMe for him, and they set the limit to, I think, $20,000, and that was to help cover him while he wasn't working, since the car smelled like pepper spray, and he wasn't able he had to live while he was not working. They ended up getting close to, as the latest I checked, was about $90,000.
Wow.
So good for him.
Good.
I'm glad that people kind of stepped in there for him and kind of helped him out, because that was definitely necessary. I do have a couple of points here on my little piece of paper. So first of all, we did touch on the girl in the middle that seemed like she wasn't doing anything, but I think that is like a fair warning to everybody to, like, watch the people that you hang around.
Listen, because them people are your friends.
Right.
Because everybody online is saying all of y'all need to go into prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, other girls just sitting in the middle with her mask on, like, what are y'all?
Typing on her phone, like, get me out
she knows
this
her friends. She's
car.
like, I know I can't do nothing to calm them down.
Maybe.
True.
You need new friends then, sis.
Exactly.
For real.
I am not going to brunch with you. No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
They
not.
go to that place in
Acting
Dallas.
up. And the one girl.
Well, they can twerk off the couch.
Now, I want to ask, like, this with this one girl with this black scent saying the N-word.
Uh-oh.
What are you doing, girl? Like, and your friends are sitting there, and everything's like,
and it's
okay,
understand, right?
Where did you get that was okay?
I mean, if you are that type of way, and like your black friends never correct you, then you feel like it's okay. You can continue to.
Yeah.
Hey, it's taken the Papa John's man 20 months to stop saying the N-word. Let her have her time.
Oh my goodness. Wait, what happened with Papa John's anyway? Because I know that he said it again or something, because I didn't actually see what had happened.
I think he gave an interview. He was just pretty much saying he's been struggling to stop saying nigga.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
and it's been 20 months.
Sir.
Oh no! Did he blame it on his? Was he the one blaming on his diabetes or no?
No, that was somebody else.
Okay.
Sir,
good night.
how many niggas was you throwing out that 20 months can't get out the vocabulary? My God, I don't even think I say nigga that much.
Right, and see, that's the other thing. It's like she was in there saying it like. She said it a bunch of times. The other two girls never said the N-word, never came out of their mouths, and it's just like
one of the girls was black.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. So anyway, it's ridiculous. It's just crazy. But that's all we have. We're gonna get into this Kirk Franklin thing on the after show. So I want y'all sign up to the Patreon. I did send the link to the patrons in the Discord chat, so we're gonna get into that soon. Liz, where can everybody find you online?
Facebook, Elizabeth Miller, or Instagram at LadyLiz25.
Awesome.
Yes.
And again, I am Jarrod D. King. I'm here with Brandon. Oh my gosh. I was about to say Brandon Haynes. Brandon Harris Williams.
Come on.
Brandon Harris Williams. Marcus Haynes. See, it's a good thing I'm not really drinking today because I would be a mess. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter. Let me pull up our Twitters and Instagrams and everything. At Jarrod D. King, at Just Call Me Otis, at Loose as a Deuce. Follow us there. It's a great time at all times. And
come on.
Be sure to join our Patreon. Go to boysandbrunch.com. And now it's time for our little toast. Everybody raise your glass or your water bottle. So until next time, be careful what you say because the boys will brunch.